I like killers, so long as they don't say it's going to be 3/4 of an hour or something like that. I don't like it at all. No, I hate it. Now then, Mrs. Because I've seen it. I discovered that de Maupassant didn't really properly write a single story about being abroad. There's an awful one in Whitechapel where they see this old woman who is in the street, and they think, good God, she's a sort of, wouldn't expect it of the English, this sort of prostitute who's about sort of 85 with white hair. And eventually he goes back to her lodgings and discovers a whole family of white hairs, and he then discovers she's an albino, aged about 13.
Good God, that's horrendous.
Isn't that horrendous? Yes, that seems to me typical of de Maupassant. I really went off de Maupassant rather strongly.
What do you blame for that in him? I mean,
oh, I don't know. It's a sort of Balzacian realism, I think, very easily degenerates into a kind of cynicism, and basically dislike. He doesn't expect, as it were, to be writing out of love, but out of a sort of rather censorious, dismissive relationship with his characters.
That's not good, is it?
I don't like it at all. No, I hate it. Oh, I finished, at long last, Madox Ford's A Call.
Oh yes, that's the one about the suicide, isn't it?
No, it's about a man who's married his best friend off to the girl that he was in love with because he thinks she'll be good for him. While that girl has gone off to see her mother, who's died, he's picked up by his former girlfriend, who takes him to her home. And the telephone rings, and she says, answer the phone. So he picks it up, and somebody says, oh, isn't that, and recognises his voice.
Oh, yes.
And so he has a strange sort of breakdown. It is a good story. It tells you a lot about him, because in one sense, as in so many of his stories, the women are powerful, motivated primarily by passion, whereas the men are stifled by a sense of good manners, chivalry, those sort of decencies that they've been brought up in big public schools. And so actually nothing happened in regard to this girl at all, this former girlfriend. But even the man from whose point of view the story is being told, who is the man actually who made the telephone, suspects that he has been forced to pick up. Seems to be interesting in relation to the good soldier, because maybe Edward Ashburnham never did those things, as it were, of which he's been accused. Maybe it was all chivalry and that sort of need to support women in distress, which he also finds.
You believe that, do you?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes. I think there's nothing there. And that's what I partly hold against Madox Ford. I think there was a sort of tricksiness about it in the end, and a sort of over-preoccupation with what you could do with the novel, and the sense, as it were, that the novel can become an unreliable form, where in the end you don't know where you are, and you don't quite know what the situation is that you're reading. And I mistrust that.
Yeah.
Well, my great-grandfather, actually, that's what I was called that.
Right. Well, show us now.
Could you
change morph for the viewing public from Brian Nellist to Frederick Nellist in a flash of an eye?
Right.
Here we go. This is multimedia.
This is poor Fred. Oh, if I can only get it on. Poor Fred, this is. Now then, Mrs. Because I've seen it.
Does Fred have any... You know, Brian, he talks about books. What does Fred talk about?
Drains.
Drains, of course.
Does he ever look
from Rome to the present day? Is it historical?
Hey, you want what's historical?
Oh, you're really...
I'm talking about historical grain. Of course I can tell you I've seen a few.
I don't know whether you've heard the news this week, but they've discovered an algorithm by which you can do Sudoku.
Oh.
Now this is the end of random creativity, because they can actually show you how to work it all out, apparently. Some mathematician has sorted it.
Well, presumably you could only do it if you were a mathematician, and the whole point of Sudoku is that it's non-mathematicians who do it.
Well,
as you do it in terms of reasoning.
The saving grace is slightly different. This method is infallible, but it makes all of the puzzles last about an hour and a half.
Ah, yes. Yes.
But I thought you would have read it and felt a little worried.
No, I refuse to do puzzles that say this is going to take you an hour and a half, namely the killers. I like killers so long as they don't say it's going to be 3/4 of an hour or something like that.
How many have you done this week?
Oh, I don't know, about the usual 100 plus, really.
And
I got a very good book from Sainsbury's, which is supposed to be for experts.
Well, you are!
No, I'm not. I'm simply experienced, but I'm not an expert. There is a slight difference. And I could do a lot of them.
How much was it?
How much was it?
Yes.
$2.99, I think.
Above your usual price.
Oh yes, of course. I generally go to the works and buy them for $1.99. I got 301 puzzles for $1.99 in a big sort of thing like a scrapbook, and I've done all those now. I've had it a fortnight, so I suppose I do an awful lot, don't I?